Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a great day so far. Today's topic is becoming a full-time Forex trader. So I'll talk a little bit about, my story and give you guys a few tips and tricks on how you guys could do the same. So I started off trading. I got introduced to the Forex market late 2017. I was in college at the time, so I was actually just finishing up my degree. November of 2017 is when I first got introduced to it. I started trading towards the end of the year 2017 going into 2018. The first half of it, I just finished college because I got out that December of 2017, and so I moved out of my parents' house and I was living on my own. Me and my brother, we have an apartment complex. We live in North Phoenix, and so I was working and I was trying to get this Forex thing down. I was studying, like a ton of hours a day. There were some days I spent like 10 hours, a day studying. I was studying, trying to learn all these different strategies. I was going back and forth from one strategy to another. It was probably like 6 months later is when I finally quit my job. So that was probably around May, I think it was. I was working at a call center at the time, and then I quit the job there. Let's see, I didn't quit the job because I was making enough money Forex trading. I did have some other investments on the side that I did have some passive income from that kind of supplemented my income, so I was able to kind of make it. I was making some money through Forex, but not a lot by any means. Probably a few, hundred a month, if anything, if that, something like that. So around May is when I quit my job, so could dedicate more time to Forex trading. So I did that. Probably though soon after that, so May, June, July, probably June and July, I think I took a break actually. So I quit my job and then I actually took a break because it was like a period of like maybe like 3 months or so where, like I said, I was making maybe $100 or $2 a month, $100 or $200 a month, and I wasn't seeing consistent profits. So I kind of took a step back from that, and I was kind of reevaluating. I wasn't trading as much. So I wasn't getting to where I wanted to be as quickly as I wanted. I was kind of rushing the process. So I was at that point maybe like 6 months, just over 6 months into it, and I wasn't rich yet. So I took a step back. I was kind of just taking a break from it. I would look at the charts, every so often, not as frequently as I should. So after I took a break for probably about those 2 months, probably during the summer, last summer, this was 2018, June, July 2018. And then when August came around after summer, I got back into it. I got more serious, and I got more structured. So whenever I got started, the guy who introduced me to trading, he didn't really know how to trade. I didn't have as much help as I wanted. I was kind of learning most of the things on my own. I would study, I would read these different books, I would go to these different websites, watch these different videos and stuff like that. I was paying for signals sometimes at the time. And this was like when I was probably 8 months into it, again, not seeing the results that I wanted. So when I got back into it, I think August, probably September, I got more serious about it. I was studying. I was focusing on, one strategy at a time. I was being more patient. I was waiting my trades out. A common problem that a lot of new traders are into, like they'll get out of trades early. That was definitely me. For like in 10, 20 pips drawdown, then I pull out of the trade. Just a little simple stuff like that, not waiting the market out. So once I fixed that issue, again, became a little bit more patient. I was found one strategy that worked for me, and I was able to replicate that and duplicate that and continue that. And whenever probably towards the end of the year, coming back around almost 1 year, so September, October, November-ish, then I felt like I knew just about all I needed to know about trading. I was able to be consistent, make profits on a consistent basis. My goal is 50 pips a day, because at 50 pips a day, you're able to double your account every month. So 50 pips a day, 250 a week, 1,000 a month. With the 4 trading weeks, you're able to double your account. So any account that I had, I was able to double that, so that right there is enough to live off of, full-time Forex trading, depending on your account size when you're starting, from like $2,000-$3,000. If you think about that, you're doubling every month, that's your income. And my expenses, I don't have kids, I don't have like a family or anything like that, so my bills weren't, too crazy. But that was enough. Coming around towards the end of 2018, December, in January, I actually launched my own trading group. So I started teaching, I dedicated more of my time, probably half and half, of trading on my own and then teaching other people how to trade. So new traders, and it was more so just my friends, some people who I had met along the way. I teach them how to trade. And so this month in June, I launched my own trading group. So now I have my own, website. Now I open it up for everybody, so people who, are not necessarily my friends, we grow, and I'm teaching them how to trade as well. Got some people in Canada, some people across the U.S., and actually some people overseas that I'm actually teaching how to trade now. So really cool experience, kind of just to start, from square one, knowing absolutely nothing about the Forex market and teaching myself pretty much self-taught all along the way to being able to teach other people. So that's really cool. Now that's what I spend most of my time now doing. I still trade on my own, but probably 75% of my time now goes towards my new program that I have, where I'm teaching, any trader, anybody looking to trade, experienced traders who feel like they're experienced, but not having yet found their own strategy and things like that, all the way to the basic beginners, all the way to intermediate and even advanced traders. So if you're interested in joining that program, I'll put the link to that in the bio. But just some tips and tricks for anybody who is looking to become a full-time Forex trader. Probably the first thing is just to be consistent. So if you can keep everything as consistent as possible, the time of day that you trade, your stop loss. I always have a 30 pip stop loss on every single one of my trades. I never go above that, I never go below that. So just keeping things as consistent as possible. Your take profits, again, the time of day that you trade, certain currency pairs. If you don't usually trade exotic pairs, don't go ahead and trade, exotic pairs. If you don't normally trade the US 30, don't trade the US 30 just because somebody says it's going to go for a buy or sell. So just being as consistent as possible. That's probably the number one tip. If you find a good mentor, something that I didn't have originally in the beginning, so I would definitely suggest that. Someone who's doing what you want to be doing, has the results that you want to have. You definitely want to follow somebody like that. Probably the last one is just definitely ask questions. You always want to ask questions. If something doesn't make sense, go ahead and ask that question. I had somebody who wasn't in my group, but has been trading for I think like a month or two, and it was a guy who was so kind of nervous to ask me what a markup was. He didn't know what a markup was, and he finally asked me that, and I told him, all we're talking about is the chart. So just little simple questions like that. Don't be afraid to ask questions, because there's no such thing as a dumb question. So definitely ask all the questions you can. But those are my tips for you guys. Consistency, find mentorship, and ask questions. So there's my story. I hope that helped you guys.